The year is 1997. A young 16-year-old footballer from Australia boards a plane from Sydney to London, a one-way ticket in his pocket and the promise of a trial at Millwall FC. His family has taken out a $10,000 loan to finance the trip, risking their financial security on the young teenager. And that teenager was Tim Cahill. The family's gamble would ultimately pay off, and he would go on to become one of the finest footballers in Australia's history. A nation's hero, and he'd achieve what only a few had managed to achieve before him. This is the story of the Socceroo that became a Premier League legend.
Let's go. I'm going on a trip and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning. Oh, and this is just the beginning. I need a big change, help me feel like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all.
In 1997, a 16-year-old Tim Cahill embarked on a journey that would define his future. Born and raised in Sydney, Australia, Cahill made the daunting decision to leave behind everything familiar and pursue his footballing dreams in England. It was a huge risk. Only a handful of Australian players had ever made the move a success before Cahill. The challenges were numerous, adapting to a new culture, proving himself in a fiercely competitive environment, and of course, at his tender age, navigating the pressures of professional football. You can imagine the culture shock on Cahill's arrival. The weather was colder, the football was faster, and the expectations were higher. Millwall FC, a club with a tough reputation in London's East End and playing in England's third tier at the time, would be his proving ground. They had offered Cahill a trial, and as Cahill stepped onto the pitch for the first time, he knew that this may be his one and only chance. And Cahill, with the weight of his family's financial backing on his shoulders, took his chance. He would be presented the opportunity to join the Millwall youth setup, and in the coming months, slowly but surely, he started to make a name for himself, earning a reputation as a midfielder with an uncanny ability to find the back of the net. Cahill's first team breakthrough came in the 1998-1999 season, when he made his first team debut. And from that moment, his trajectory was upward. His performances grew more assured, his goals more frequent, and his importance to the team more evident with each passing season. Between the years of 1998 and 2004, he would score 52 goals for Millwall in 217 appearances. And then, as the 2004 summer transfer window approached, rumours swirled about Tim Cahill's future. His journey from Sydney to South London had been impressive, but it was clear that this was just the beginning. Premier League clubs were now circling, and one in particular saw in Cahill qualities that could see him perform at a higher level. Everton FC, a proud club with a rich history, was about to provide the stage for the next chapter in Tim Cahill's football odyssey. The boy from Sydney was ready to take on the biggest challenge of his career and aim to cement his place in Premier League history. Cahill's transfer for £1.5 million in 2004 marked the beginning of a transformative era for the Australian. Initially met with scepticism due to his lower division background, Cahill swiftly silenced critics by becoming Everton's top goalscorer in his debut season, clinching both the Player of the Season and the Fans Player of the Season awards. Cahill's impact on Everton was profound and immediate. His first goal for the club, a winner against Manchester City, set the tone for a career defined by crucial interventions. His aerial prowess became the stuff of legend, with Cahill routinely outjumping taller defenders to score vital goals. In fact, Cahill's aerial ability, despite only standing at 5'10", became his defining trait. 22 of his 56 Premier League goals that he would go on to score came by way of his head. This ability was particularly evident in high-stakes situations. Cahill's knack for delivering when it mattered most endeared him to the Everton faithful. A good example of this being a late equaliser that he scored against Liverpool in a fiercely contested Merseyside derby. Over 8 years at Goodison Park, Cahill amassed an impressive 68 goals in 278 appearances in all competitions. His versatility proved invaluable, often playing as an auxiliary centre-forward when injuries depleted Everton's attacking options. Combined with his consistent goal threat, made Cahill one of the most important players in Everton's modern history. And beyond statistics, Cahill's legacy at Everton is etched in the memories of supporters. His boxing the corner flag celebration quickly became iconic and one of the Premier League's all-time celebration rituals. And despite not winning major trophies during his time at Everton, Cahill's impact was immeasurable, elevating him to the status of modern-day legend in the eyes of almost every Evertonian. Aside from his impact in the Premier League, Cahill's impact on Australian football was also profound, beginning with Australia's return to the World Cup stage in 2006 after a 32-year absence. As the Socceroos faced Japan in their opening match, Cahill made history by scoring Australia's first ever World Cup goal. Cahill's influence on the national team continued to grow over the years as well, with his aerial prowess and knack for scoring crucial goals making him an indispensable part of the squad. As Australia continued to qualify for subsequent World Cups, Cahill's presence became synonymous with the team's growing ambitions on the global stage. The 2014 World Cup in Brazil provided another defining moment in Cahill's international career as he scored a stunning volley against the Netherlands. Cahill's impact also extended beyond World Cups. In the 2015 AFC Asian Cup, hosted in Australia, he played a pivotal role in guiding the team to their first Asian Cup title. Scoring 3 crucial goals in the tournament, Cahill's leadership and experience were instrumental in navigating the pressures of a home competition. In his 108 appearances for the Socceroos, Cahill cemented himself as a legend in Australian history. Former national team coach Rale Razic described him as the best Australian soccer player he had seen in his lifetime, a testament to Cahill's enduring legacy. By the time he retired from international football in 2018, Cahill had become Australia's all-time leading goalscorer, a record that speaks volumes about his consistency and longevity. Tim Cahill's career had redefined what was possible for Australian footballers on the global stage. His success not only elevated the status of Australian football, but also set a new benchmark for future generations of players representing their country at the highest level. And so, when you think back to 1997, when a young Australian arrived in England with nothing but a dream and a duffel bag, it's hard to imagine that 2 decades later, Tim Cahill would have changed the face of football in 2 countries and reshaped the path for aspiring Australian footballers. Cahill's journey from Sydney to stardom blazed a trail for an entire generation of Australian players. At a time when Aussies in top European leagues were a rarity, Cahill's success at Everton, carved in the lower leagues with Millwall, opened doors that had long been closed. His performances in the Premier League and on the international stage proved that Australian footballers could compete at the highest level, challenging long-held perceptions about the quality of talent from down under. Australian players had faced significant barriers in top European leagues, including cultural differences, intense competition, and scepticism about their abilities. His success inspired young players to dream beyond their local leagues, showing them that a career in top-flight European football was attainable. This visibility led to increased opportunities for promising players to showcase their skills on that global stage. And then beyond these on-field contributions, Cahill also played a crucial role in growing football's popularity as a sport in Australia. His Premier League exploits and World Cup heroics captured the imagination of sports fans across the country, elevating football status in a nation traditionally dominated by rugby and Aussie rules football. This surge in popularity attracted new fans and participants to the sport, contributing to its growing prominence in Australian sporting culture. Tim Cahill's journey from Sydney to Premier League stardom exemplifies the power of determination in football. His rise from an unknown Australian teenager to an Everton icon reshaped his own destiny and influenced the sport in both Australia and England. Cahill's unwavering self-belief, captured in his own quote of, "I didn't have a fallback plan because I had no intention of falling back," had propelled him to success. Cahill's impact extends beyond his on-field achievements. After leaving Everton in 2012, Tim Cahill would go on to play football in 4 continents, playing in the US, China, India, as well as back in his native Australia. The twilight of his career even included a brief 10-game return to his first club, Millwall. He was loved wherever he went and will always be remembered fondly for his time in the Premier League, as well as for the enormous impact he had on Australian football as a whole. Tim Cahill, the Socceroo that became a Premier League legend. If you enjoyed this video and want to watch more like this, covering more than just the 90 minutes on the pitch, be sure to check out the other videos on the channel and make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching.